said that you want your guys playing their best down the stretch of the season. How close do you think you are to reaching that point?
Still, we haven't had that 40-minute game, and everybody had their game. It's like the perfect wave. You're trying to find the perfect wave. You go all over the world, and so we've shown great strides and great moments. But I don't know how to really answer that question other than we haven't seen our best game yet, and it'd be exciting if we get there.
There's all ways that this team can get there. Now it seems that you got the defense down pat,
yeah,
and you do enough on offense. Just how can this team get better?
I think we have to rebound the ball better. I think that's going to be a big part moving forward. And then, the last 3 games we've done a better job in handling the ball and not turning it over as much. I think those are 2 areas that we can constantly get better. And defensively, we've been playing at a good level. We just got to finish better on the rebounding. And then offensively, we've done a decent job sharing it. It's just some of the turnovers. We just need to get better with that.
You have Amir back?
That's a good question. I think he's back today. Yeah, he'll be back here today. I think.
Yeah, he's back.
I'm almost positive. It was either, I don't know if he was going to be able to make it to practice, but he's coming back today.
He'll be back.
Yeah.
Any concerns, Amir, missing the time? Because he's been hurt a lot too. Has he been able to practice?
No, he was ill. That's what in Arizona, he was ill. He wasn't hurt, and so he's a guy. He plays multiple positions. Had a really good game against Utah, shooting the ball. Like he's a better shooter than his numbers portray. He's a very good rebounder, block shots. Sometimes having different looks at the center position causes problems with certain players. He just poses different element problems. But he's a huge part of what we do, and so having him back is obviously a great thing.
You mentioned you've got to get better at rebounding.
Yeah.
Is that something that's more difficult to do out of the zone?
Yeah.
Or is it technique? Is it
you know what it is? It's where focus goes, energy grows. Like you gotta make it. In the zone, you're rebounding areas, and so it just goes back to getting guys focused on when it goes up. Even if I'm closing out that we're going back, it's really areas. And sometimes I think we watch a little bit too much. Certain teams like Colorado were really aggressive going to the glass. Utah, Arizona State, like they're focused on doing that. And the more that we can do that, because our defense is good enough to get them to miss. Now, if we can retain it, sometimes transition's your best offense. That's where you can get easy baskets. Defenses aren't set, and so that becomes a really, you don't have to be the best in the league, but I think if we can go from wherever we are, 12th or 11th to 6th or 7th, those are big difference pieces in terms of being a really, really good team, and we're going to focus on that in practice, for sure. No.
Is that because guys aren't coming back because they're after the shot goes up? Are they already anticipating when to get the rebound and we're going to go to transition?
I think sometimes, like I remember playing and you would think, oh, he's got the rebound. You can't think that. You got to make sure everybody's kind of come back, and it's trained. You go back into the paint. When you have a lot of the teams that we play, a lot of teams might shoot 50% of their shots are 3-pointers. Well, a lot of 3-point shots, a lot of long shots are long rebounds, and so the guard area is a critical part. Those long rebounds, but that also, if you rebound that, you're already in your what? You're already in your transition. You're at the foul line, and everybody else is where? Under the basket, and so we need to be able to take advantage of those opportunities. Because when your defense is really good and you get them to take that shot and it's a long rebound and you can score off that, those are energy plays.
That first Cal game was just about dead heat at intermission.
Yeah.
What did you do in the second half to pull away? You got to do again.
We defended. There was that sense of urgency. They play hard. The one thing, they've got a young team, but boy, they compete. They play hard. They're young guys. Matt Bradley shot the ball exceptionally well. He's one of the best shooters in the league. But they're attackers. Like they attack the glass. They attack the paint. They go to the foul line a lot. We got to be able to defend without fouling, keep them in front as best we can, and also mark the shooters. And if we can do that, and like I said, finish with rebounding, those are things that we can control. Regardless if you're playing Cal, Stanford, Arizona State, whatever it is, those are things that we have to do better. And they just pose that challenge. We just got to keep them in front and make sure we defend without fouling.
Do you think that this type of game, when you have the first team in the Pac-12 playing the last team in the Pac-12, really tests your sort of ability to focus and to not sort of look at a team's record?
No, I think it goes back to the human nature piece. But we, listen, it was almost even at halftime, and they had us down 12, if I'm correct. It was 12 or 14 in the first half at home. And these guys can play. They had UCLA beat, I thought, and they lost in overtime at home. And they've got a chip on their shoulder, and you got to respect everybody you play. And they got a good program, they got great tradition and history, and you're going to their place. You got to go out and earn it. And I think a big thing that we focused on is, you heard about don't eat the cheese, but we've got to get better. These are opportunities to go out there, and we're just worried about how do we execute? How hard do we play in terms of making that extra pass? Are we cutting hard? Are we rebounding? Are we working on those things that can make us really good? And I really believe if we can control those things, that we'll have a chance to win every game that we play.
You mentioned several times throughout the season that you wanted to get Jamal some more playing time,
Yeah.
and he was able to get some extended minutes with Amir out.
Yeah.
Hit a big three. Where's he at? How's his confidence level? And how much did that really help?
I think it's listen. He's a heck of a player. He's in a lot of teams he'd be starting and playing. Plays behind a couple of really good players and a winning team, but a guy who can really help us. Sometimes when you don't get a lot of minutes, or you go through and it's like you don't know when, or it's very, very difficult. But he's had an incredible attitude. We really believe we play him because we feel like he can help us win. And I think the last game he played really confident. It was shooting the ball, rebounding. He's a really good defensive player. He makes the right play offensively. He'll ball reverse. He's just so fundamentally sound. The way that he played, he'll earn more minutes. I was always telling him, I'm like, last year there were so many games where Nas came in and he had like a 12-point game, or I want you to be aggressive. I don't want you to be Mike Hopkins, who is the best ball reverse guy in America. Hey, thumbs down, spin the ball. We want you to be aggressive, and that's the type of player he is. I mean, he was state player of the year on a great basketball state. So you're talking about a guy whose future is just really bright, and I want that. I want that Jamal, and he's a heck of a player, and he had a really good game. Really helped us.
Hey, whose idea was it to put the mousetraps down?
Will Conroy came up to me, and he says, "Coach, I've been thinking." He says, "I was reading. It was the coach at the New Orleans Saints, and he said every time they would win, he was reading something that every 4 games they would win. He said he would come in with mousetraps, and it was don't eat the cheese. Like you got to stay, humble, hungry, and wise, and keep moving forward." And I was like, whoa, that's a great idea. And we went right into the office and said, Cray and Trevor, buy 15 mousetraps, but we're putting them all over in the locker room. And we got a brand new locker room. So when everybody was like, what the hell is it? And I'm like, well, there's mice in here. There's like, no, there's no way. I'm like, and it was the whole story of don't eat the cheese. And it was just a real simple message in terms of, being humble and staying sharp and staying gritty and staying focused. That's who we are. That's when we're at our best, and nothing changes. Top 25, it doesn't matter. We understand that. We've got to go out there and perform and play together. And if we can do that, we're going to have a chance.
Were you afraid that maybe any of the players might test one of those?
We didn't put cheese in it and actually do it. They were just kind of laying around. My son would have been the guy. Hey, this is great. What's this? Oh, snap it, fingers off. Dad, sorry. But just a great symbol, of being smart and being cautious of of winning. You know, like I was taught a long time ago. It's harder to handle success than it is to handle failure, and it's a great life lesson for these kids, and to stay humble and to do what we've done. You know, we'll keep with it.
Are you like happy though to be back into the top 25? Or does that mean anything?
It doesn't really matter. Listen, at the end of the day, you know, you have your critics, you have people that write it, you know, this and that. They can have whatever story that they want. I learned a lesson last year. I was so obsessed with like the commentary about the Pac-12 and the league, and you know how the national media kind of wrote about it. And you know, you fight for something that you believe in, and you know, I've been in all those other leagues, and we've got great coaches, and we've got great programs with great traditions, and whenever you feel like you're on attack, it bothers me. You know, it bothers us. And there's good coaches, there's good teams, and so this year you realize you can only, you know, it's what we're preaching to our guys: control the controllables. And so I've been. My wife will say, "Honey, did you read this on Twitter?" Don't tell me. You know, she'll give me the scowl. But listen, control the controllables. Are we getting better? Are we focused? Are we having good practices? Are we preparing correctly? Where's our mindset? Where's our energy levels? And there's one truth, and that's what happens when you go out on that court, and that's what we can control. And so, top 25, top 10, number 1, whatever, at the end of the day, got the Cal Bears, and that's what we're focused on.
Couple more guys.
Thursday, Sunday on the road. Any big deal?
Another day of rest, another day of, when you're on the road, I really like it because it's another day to bond with your guys. And the one thing I'm really proud of is that the guys are, you know, becoming stronger. I think as the season progresses and you go through, you know, a long season, the guys, you know, you can either, man, I can't stand this guy, I need a break. Or like, but then it also, when you start to see them interacting with each other and really supporting each other, that's when you know you're starting to, you know, do something. You feel like you're doing something right. And you know, I've been a part of some great teams, and it's that brotherhood that you have forever, and you can see that becoming really tight.
Why were you so obsessed with the Pac-12 narrative? It just felt like
I felt last year. And I'm gonna go into last year. I just felt like, you know, Arizona State got all the way up to number 2 in the country, and what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to be great in the non-conference. Okay, well, you beat Kansas at Kansas. You beat Xavier. You're representing our league just incredibly, and they come in 9th in our league. They didn't have a great conference, but the narrative wasn't, man, the Pac-12 is strong. A team like that came in 9th. The narrative was like, oh, the league is weak. And then, okay, well, the league didn't do great in the tournament. Well, the key to being successful in the tournament usually is having great seeds. You know, it's 2 11 seeds, and you know, it's the way it is. And so, you know, I've been around some great coaches. You know, seeing like I think Dana Altman's an incredible coach. Larry Christoia. I mean, there's Sean Miller. He's proven. You know, with great traditions. And so, you know, just you're part of that family now. And when you feel like it's not getting the respect or the credibility, you know, that's you fight for it. And you know, we compete to you know, beat each other, and we're competitive, but there's so much respect for those other programs in the league, and you just want to represent that and want them to represent that and go out and do well. So anyway, that's why I was upset.
Everybody good?